Perfect. So we are recording now, and now I'm going to just put myself up on the screen here so I can see. Okay, great. So welcome everyone. This is kind of sitting for a quick sec. Find your seat. Find your sit bones, move your fleshy tissue. So, if you're having difficulty today sitting in any way, feel free to sit on a chair. We want to lift the rib cage off the hips. We want to get this length in the side body. Roll your shoulders back. Draw your chin in. And bring your hands together at your heart. Let's take a minute to close your eyes and bring your awareness inside your body. Sense and feel what is going on there. Connect with your breath. How are you breathing at this moment? How are you sitting at this moment? Because, we often have our pelvis tilted or we're grounded in our back. So we want to find that neutral pelvis, have the natural curves of the back. Pushing the sit bones down and lengthening through the top of your head. It's like almost, you had a string on the top of your head and somebody's pulling you up, but very gently so that the neck stays very calm and relaxed. Draw the lower belly in and up, and draw your hip points up. A minute just to be grateful that we're safe in our homes, that we are safe in our body, that we can do this practice today. Just slowly drop your hands and open your eyes. So on Wednesday morning, some of you were there, some of you weren't. It doesn't matter whether you were or not. But I did a practice for the lower back, and particularly I focused on tight piriformis or weak piriformis, which is it's more often a weak piriformis that causes back issues than a tight one. And I focused on two things. So just in case you weren't here, your piriformis is this muscle that sits under the gluteus, and it goes from the middle of your back across this way. So we did a lot of stretching in that area last week, and I had you focus on two things: drawing the hip points together and lifting the lower abs while doing all your poses. So I'd like you to continue to do that today. We're going to sort of continue on the lower back, but we're doing a little bit more of a traditional yoga class. And then the other thing I asked you to focus on was the outside of your heel. So as we're in our standing poses in particular, the outside rim of the heel, I asked you to make sure that you are always pushing that down. So that doesn't mean that you supinate, doesn't mean that you take all your weight to the outside. You still want to ground the ball of the big toe. So we're going to go there as well today. So we're going to start. If you have a ball, then I want you to just massage the bottoms of your feet with the ball. So again, you can take the ball underneath your foot. Hopefully you can see this. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see it. And you're just going to go back and forth like this a little bit. And I'm applying a fair bit of pressure. I'm leaning into the ball because I want to affect that fascial tissue. So if you don't have a ball or a tennis ball, golf ball or something like that, or if you forgot to get it today, then you can do a couple things. You can sit down on a chair and just massage the bottom of your feet with your thumb. That works really well. You're still doing the same kind of thing. Or you can take the edge of your block. You have a block, or if you're using a book, by the way, that was just go into the edge of your block and just work that tissue. You're just pressing into it and kind of twisting your foot around the edge of the block. You know what? It actually feels really good. Now, my block's not that firm. I would probably prefer something a little firmer, but definitely this works just as well. Okay, so we're working one foot. Start, the left foot is maybe, or the right foot, doesn't really matter. And we'll just open that up a little bit, because the fascial tissue under your foot travels all the way up your back and up the back of your neck and even into the top to the head. So it's really important. And if we had a longer class, we do that experiment. We would use the ball, do a forward bend first, then use the ball, then do a forward bend. And but we want to utilize our time well today and get a lot done. So so just work that. And you can also press your heel into the floor, press down into the ball, and just do a little side to side action. So you're going across the tissue instead of always front. The feet are fabulous, interesting things, and we have to spend a lot of time with them. Okay, now maybe what you can do, and my friend Beth did this in her class this morning, just compare your left foot and your right foot, whichever foot you did, and see if there's any difference between the two. That's always good. And then go ahead and do the other foot. So again, working the ball or working, you know, everybody should always have a set of balls. You should travel with them. My friend Judy would make a joke about that right now, but rubber balls is what I'm talking about. Just travel with them, use them all the time at your desk, at work, whenever you're traveling, although I don't know when we'll be traveling again, but hopefully soon. So again, just swish into the ball, heel on the floor, putting a lot of pressure in. You can go across the metatarsals, the mounds of the toes, and get that. And you can squeeze the ball with your toes, which will open up the front. There's all kinds of variations on that. Actually, I might do a video on that this week, just how to use the ball to release your fascial tissue. Another YouTube one. Okay. All right. So that's that. And then stand again in Tadasana. And you can have your feet together or slightly apart, doesn't matter. Just find those four corners of your feet. Lift your toes up, spread them really nice and wide. So lots of space between the big toe and the little toe. Lift the arches of the foot. Look at it and see, like, wow, my arches are really, really lifted. And when you do that, usually what happens is you have equal weight on both sides of the heel. But if you don't, left and right, then, you know, if you're still pronating or supinating a little bit, then go back, find equal weight on both sides of the heel, and then drop your toes back down. Leave the arches up. And then, like I said, when we're doing a balance pose, like you know, we're going to be doing some things today, I want you to really focus on the outer heel to activate the piriformis muscle on that side. So as I'm standing here, I'm going to adduct my thighs. I'm going to bring them away from each other, and I'm going to put more weight on the outer heel as well as the big toe. I've got that equal weight, and the arches are lifted. So then from there, I find my Tadasana. So shift your thighs back, make sure your abdomen and your tailbone are connected, get that space, and inhale and lift your arms up over your head and get long. You can join your thumbs, a little bit out of the camera here, but I'll move back a little bit. I think that'll do it. Join your thumbs together, reach, get really nice and tall, lengthen through the side body, and make sure that you're breathing. So keeping, as you lift your arms up, did you shift the weight onto your balls or your feet? And if you did, draw the weight back. Draw the weight back. Draw the weight back. And then get taller and taller and taller by lifting your breastbone up. Make sure you're breathing. Draw the shoulder blades into the body. Don't lift the shoulders up, just the arms. And then exhale and slowly release and bring your arms back down. So just grab your chair. If you don't have your chair, just do this without your chair. It doesn't matter. Again, try to make everything so that it's accessible to you at home. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand in Tadasana. I'm going to roll my shoulders back, and I'm going to grab the hoop of my chair so you can see that. Just just want to get this feeling of lifting the front body and drawing the back body down, and particularly even my hands. So drawing, holding the chair behind me, and using it as leverage to get even more lift in the front body. Find your Tadasana be on the outside edge. And then exhale and release. And then as we did, you know, this is a little repetition from Wednesday morning, those of you who were there, but we'll do our tree pose, Vrikshasana. So we're gonna either take our foot here, or you can go a little bit on the lower leg, not at the knee, and then you can come up right into the inner groin. And remember what I said, because I want you to focus on the outer heel, you're going to take even the outer heel of this lift of this upper leg, and you're going to twist the outer heel into the middle of the rim. So I'm twisting my outer heel, my left outer heel, towards you. I'm not letting my hips jut out here on the right side. I'm drawing those into the midline, but I'm pushing through the outer heel of my standing foot. And then doing that, see if maybe you can take your arm off the chair or your support and just come to Tadasana, Vrikshasana, Tadasana, nonetheless. Okay? And then exhale and release. Come back to standing, find your Tadasana, and we go to the other side. So I'm going to move my chair over in case I need it for support. Find my Tadasana, lift my right leg up. Maybe I'm just going to do here, depending on my balance today. Maybe I'm going to do here. And maybe I can bring the leg all the way up into my inner thigh. I'm going to twist my outer heel towards the front of my body. That allows this external rotation. Then on my standing leg, I'm focusing on the outer heel, pushing down into the floor and the ball of the big toe, activating all those muscles in the glute that we need for support. Pubic bone comes up, lots of space between my hips and my ribs. See if I can keep my balance, and then inhale and lift that. Got to keep that pressure. The thigh is coming in, the heel is coming in, so they're making like a pancake. Good. And then exhale, release back to Tadasana. Good. Now, we're going to take our chair out in front of us. I'm going to move my ball and my blanket out of the way. We're going to take our feet about the width of our mat, and we're going to do a forward bend. Okay, so remember, when we do a forward bend, we roll the pelvis or hinge over the hip. So as if you had a bar in there, right at the pubic bone, and you're trying to come up and over that bar. And we're going to place our hands on the chair. So I'm going to be trying to push my chair forward. It's hitting my other chair, so it's not going to go very far. But I'm pushing forward as I push my thighs back. Like I said, I want to be about the width. What we did last time is we lined up our second toe and the middle of our heel on the mat to do downward dog, which we're going to do in a second again. And so you could do that here as well. Make sure that the feet are facing forward. Engage your quads, lift your kneecaps up, and push your hips back as you draw forward. And again, just like in Adho Mukha Vrasana, we don't need to drop our head right away. Look forward, bring the breastbone forward, engage the core, find the outer heels, the outer edges of your heel, and push down on them as you push down. Take your legs away from each other like you've got a big balloon in between your legs, and you've got to make more space for that balloon or a horse, and keep lengthening, keep drawing the belly in and up. Pushing your hands forward as you push your hips back. Keep lifting the sit bones up, but not overarching the back. Engage the core so you get that balance between the two. And hold, and exhale, and release. Perfect. Good. All right. I'm going to turn my chair the other way. so that I can now put my hands on the seat. And this time we're going to do the standing downward dog. So again, if you don't have a chair, feel free to do this at the wall. You can do the wall or on your couch. It doesn't really matter what you use, okay? So in downward dog, our feet are back, all right? And so right now, I want my heels grounded, and I want to make sure, I'm back far enough so that my leg isn't parallel. So I don't want to be here. Just step back, but not too much. So then I can ground my heels. Now the heels are just hip width apart, or the feet are hip width, or even closer if you want. Tadasana close, whatever feels good. And then you're going to push your hands into the chair and push back. Push your hips back, push your thighs back, lift your kneecaps up. Abduct your legs, in other words, draw them away from each other. And lengthen through that side body. Everything is about getting the rib cage away from the hips. Feel the outer heels, feel the mound of the big toe, lift your arches up, lift the kneecap up, and lengthen. And breathe. Hang out here a bit. Getting ready. Good. And then come on up, back to step forward, back up to Tadasana, and see how that feels. Okay, so now we're going to take our hands down a little bit lower. So my chair has, the lower legs. Let me just show you what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to put my hands now on this bar of my chair, or even at the sides here, okay? So you can try that as well. Or if your chair doesn't have that, just find something to do a lower level, even blocks, okay? So I'm going to take my hands there. I'm going to walk back into my downward dog, bend my knees to start, and find this downward dog. Now my hands are a little bit lower. It's almost like I'm doing a regular downward dog. I'm pushing my chair forward as I push my hips back. My chair just slid onto the floor. We'll find a place where it can't go any further. Lift the inner thighs. It's almost like you have a block in the very upper part of your inner thighs. Lift those up and draw the thighs away from each other. So wake those up. Good. And then exhale and come on down. That's a little hard on my hands because my bar was kind of hard. Okay, now I'm going to move my chair out of the way. For now, I'm going to use it again in a minute, but okay. So now we're going to come down to that wide leg downward dog. So like I said, line up your second toe on the edge of your mat on both feet. So you're really nice and wide. And then bring the hips back to the heels and walk your hands out as far as you can get them. So we're getting this length in the spine without even doing any movement. So if you're feeling tired today, maybe you just stay here and you work this out. Round your knuckles of your hands, find the 5 corners, I guess, or the 5 points of your hands. You want to ground the knuckles and also even the bed of the fingers. Push them into the floor and push your hands forward and then slowly come up into your downward dog. Knees bent, heels up nice and high. Now, we're going to try to straighten the legs if you can by drawing the kneecaps and the thighs up, pushing the thighs back. And then I want you to really connect with the balls of your feet and push your heels back like you're giving your whole bottom of the foot a nice stretch, and see if you can connect with the outer heel of your foot. Okay? And then exhale and release, come back down. All right, now Adho Mukha Virasana. Toes together, knees wide, arms reaching in. Again, I'm focusing this morning on my YouTube video. I focused on the hands and the shoulders and the wrists because a lot of people might be doing gardening, and also gardening can be hard on your low back. So here we go again with this focus. Now, draw your tailbone down towards the floor, down towards your heel. Lengthen through the side body. Push your hands into the floor. We're going to go into a little bit of a side bend here. And I want you to shift your hips to the right. In particular, shift your right sit bone back towards your right heel. And then walk your hands over to the left. Now, it's really important that you breathe into your right rib cage. So open that up and really expand the breath. Through this pose, I will tell you in a minute something really great about breathing. But I'm really focusing on expanding the rib cage as I breathe. And opening up through the armpit. And then walk back to the center. You need to come up, feel free to do so. If you're fine, walk to the left. And now I'm walking my hips to the right. I'm shifting my, I think I said left there, but I'm walking to the right now, opposite side. And I'm shifting my left hip back, my hips to the left, so that I'm getting more of a stretch to that side. And I'm also stretching the piriformis. And then I breathe into my rib cage. Big, deep breath, expanding that left side of the ribs. Breathe right into there. Really feel that breath. And then come back to the center and walk your hands back up. So what I was saying about the breath is when we focus on our breath, we know that the breath is good for reducing stress, but when we focus on our breath, it actually turns us into a state, an alkaline state instead of an acid state. Often clients say to me, oh, I eat really well, but I'm still really acidic, and that causes a lot of inflammation. So when you focus more on your breath, not only do you lower your acidity levels and become more alkaline, but you also reduce inflammation. So, I mean, isn't that a great thing, side benefit of yoga? Okay, now again, we're going to come back up to standing, and we're going to grab our chair one more time, whatever you have to use, even if you have to go like to your couch or whatever. And we're going to take our right foot up on our chair, and we're going to take it fairly high. So I'm actually using a block on top of my chair. You can put a pillow, blanket, books, whatever you want. So that what I want is my knee higher than my head. Okay? And again, if you need the support of a wall, feel free to go to a wall here. Okay? So I'm doing a twist. I'm going to take my left hand on the outside of my right knee, and I'm going to take my right hand behind me. This is for leverage. I'm just drawing it down, drawing the shoulder blade down, and I'm going to do a gentle twist over that knee to the right. Let me just change my angle here for you. So I have my foot up, my knee higher than my head. And remember, if you want to work this area, we have to drop it down. So you can even take your hand first and push. So then I had my left hand on my right knee, and then I did a rotation. And the rotation comes from the side body. The hips stay exactly like they are. Just doing that nice, gentle twist. Breathe, lengthen on your inhalation, release deeper into the twist on your exhalation. Then come back to the center. Okay, now we're going to do the left foot. So now I'll turn around again. Okay. And you can experiment this when you're doing this at home. You can go up as high as you want with this leg, even higher if it feels good. But what you must do before you go into the pose is sink this hip. So take your hand in there. We did this last week in Padasana. We took our hand in that place to move it away. Okay, and then we're going to take our right hand to the outside of the left knee, hand behind or hand even drawing down, or if you have a wall there, it's all good. So then we're going to rotate and twist away. Now remember, we're on a balance pose here, so that standing leg, you want to be really forcing the weight into the right back heel. You can feel toning of the glute on that side. And then exhale, come back to center. Okay, that was our, I'm going to move my chair aside again. We're going to use it again several times today. So now I'm going to take my block and I'm going to do a little sitting twist. And this is the twist where we sit on our legs and then we have our block handy beside us. So I'm going to put mine at my right hand and then I just lift my right hip onto the block. If you do not want to use the block, you do not have to. You can just drop your hips down to the floor. And the legs are out to the side. So, you know, it's kind of like you're lounging at the park or something. So then what we're going to do is sit up nice and tall. So there's this tendency again to jack up this left hip, but I want to push the left hip down. Okay, and then I might even want to adjust this right hip so that I can really feel both sit bones descending. And then I get really nice and tall, take my left hand on the outside of my right knee, take my right hand behind me, push it into the earth, get really nice and tall, and rotate. This one reminds me more of a turn out than it, but it's a bit of a rotation. Remember, on Wednesday, I said it's okay if you lean back a little bit. As long as you're not lifting this hip, you've got to sink that hip in. So do what feels good. Go to that edge of resistance. Come back to center. I don't know if you remember, but when I went away to Seattle on a teacher training adventure, I came back and I talked about being unruffability. That you know, the more we do our practice, the more we focus on things that are good for us, then when things happen, like what's going on now, we're more resilient and we're more unruffable. Okay, so now, again, I'm shifting to the left. I'm going to sit on a block because I find it's better for me this time, so I'll just show you what it looks like on a block. I think on the other side I did not use the block. Okay, and then I want to shift my right hip down. Try to even out the hips. I get really nice and tall. And then I rotate. I read an article that said that now that we've been in isolation for so long, things are about to get weird. And what they were talking about is just weird in terms of our mental state and also our relationships with people. A lot of people are in close quarters with the same people all the time, exhale and release. So that brings me to the point that we don't want things to get weird. Let's really focus on our practice, focus on our breath, focus on what we need to do to get through this next little while. And they do say that it could drag on, so we've got to really take care of ourselves really well. Okay, now we're going to do downward dog again. Okay. Normal width of the leg, whatever feels good. Find your hand placement. Curl your toes under, bring your hips back to your heel. Find that length in your spine before you even go up into the pose. Putting lots of space between your hips and your ribs. Push your hands forward into your yoga mat, lift your knees up just a little bit, and find your downward dog. So we're just really getting that length in our side body. So heels, you can keep your heels up high, you can bring them down, you can begin to start straightening the leg. You know, when I do this practice in the morning, I have to keep my knees bent more because I'm a little bit stiffer. And then breathe into the pose. And then exhale and release, come down to the knees, just a few cat and cow. And maybe some spontaneous little movements. Just move around a little bit from all fours and just see how you're feeling. I am totally amazed that between the practice that I did last week and this practice, which I've been practicing now every day, a combination of the two or both of them even, a lot of yoga, my back is doing really well and my problems seem to almost have gone away, knock wood on my head. But yeah, so it just goes to show you it's possible. I did a lot of pain. So I'm just moving, okay? And then, great, and then come back, and we're gonna go into, now, again, if you have a type of chair that you can put your leg over, that's what we'll do in this next pose. If you don't have the type of chair that you can put your leg over, then we're just gonna do the pose freeform, okay? So here it is. I've got my chair, and I say put your leg over. I mean, can you take one leg over and put the other leg behind you? So you have to sit on the very edge of the chair, and you want to draw your buttocks muscles, your hips forward, so that there's this opening here. And then you're going to have your back foot pushing into the floor. So let me just show you that if you are not using the chair, you'll just take a wide stance. Okay, feet facing forward to start. Level the hips to the side of your mat, and then take your right foot and draw it forward and come into warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. So you'll be here, and then follow along with the rest of this. Okay, if you do have a chair you can sit on, then perch yourself on the edge of your chair, and I could have used my dining room chair, that would work just as well. And then draw the buttocks tissue forward, draw the thigh back, and push out through the outer heel on both legs. Okay, so I'm pushing my outer heels down into the floor, even though I'm kind of resting on this chair. I'm more like perched on the chair. And then what I want you to do is lengthen through the side body and get your rib cage all the way down to the chair. Aha. Okay, so I can rest there, or I can bring my hand to the floor. And then I'm going to take this arm up and over, and I'm going to, you can even, like now, actually I took this right hand and I put it on the chair of my leg, and then I'm going to lengthen through my side body. I'm not doing the pose fully yet, but there's lots going on. I want to breathe. It's interesting. It's very active. And then I'm going to exhale and come on out. Beautiful. And then I'm going to slide to the other side. Wow, that was a really nice opening in the inner groin. I have to move up a little bit. Okay, so I'm perched on the edge of the chair. My thigh is resting on the edge of the chair. I have my ankle and knee in alignment. I'm feeling the front foot. I'm pushing down through my heel. If you're shorter and you don't have a chair, or you're doing this just warrior 1, you know, you can have your foot comes up. Just use a block or a book underneath your foot. Okay. Now again, back side, glutes coming forward, pushing through the outer heel, drawing the thigh bone back, feeling the spread of the pelvis, and then, oops, sorry. We're going to reach so that our side body is resting on that leg. And like I said, I grabbed the hoop of my chair, or not the hoop, the leg of my chair to hold on to, and then bring this arm up and over. Feel that nice stretch. And what I want to look at is the side body here. Is it resting right down on the chair? And can I compress the side body and the thigh together to draw my psoas back? It's a pretty nice feeling. And then I'll use the weight of my foot pushing down to lift myself up. Good. And then come on out. And then, you know, we think sometimes when we're using a chair, it's actually going to be easier. And it's kind of interesting how sometimes it's harder. Okay. So now want to do that pose again. So if you didn't use a chair last time, apologies, I'm just going to do the pose again, but we'll get a different feeling, and I'm going to add a little something in there just for a little bit of variety. So just another little trick. So take your legs as wide as you possibly can, draw your tailbone down and your pubic bone out, and turn your right foot to face the short edge of your mat. Do not change your upper body. Keep this length in your side body. You can bring your arms up, okay? And make sure you're not drawing your shoulder blades up. So if you lift them a little higher, draw the shoulder blades down and then bring them back down, and then turn the palms face down. Now we're going to bend our front knee. So now, again, remember I said we want to be focusing on the outer heel of the back foot, outer heel of the front foot. And then I want you to lift your heel off the floor on that front foot so that the hip sinks down. Just see if when you lift it up, can you sink your hip down a little bit further towards the floor? Then draw the heel back down. If your knee's gone over your ankle, then walk your foot out a little bit more, or maybe you walk the back foot back just to make that space that you need, okay? Draw your pubic bone out, draw the hip points together so you're engaging core. Now take your right arm out and lengthen, keeping the weight on the outer heel and the core engaged. Reach, 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 reach. Maybe take your hand down to the floor. Try to get the side body on the thigh, okay? And if your hand doesn't go down, you can use a block. You can use your elbow on your knee and then bring the other arm up and over. But what we want to try to get the side body right down on the leg. Activate that outer heel. Push it down firmly into the ground, that front leg, to activate the piriformis, and then inhale and come back up. Lovely. Okay. I've noticed in these videos that I say okay a lot, so try to stop doing that so many times. Okay, let's do the other side. Take a nice wide stance. Turn the left foot out this time. Square the hips as best you can. Tailbone down, pubic bone up. Squeeze together. This thigh's drawing back. You've got the weight on the outer heel. Not only is the outer heel pushing down, it's pushing out as if you're pushing it into a wall. In fact, if you have a wall at home, go ahead and do that. Front foot is facing forward. Knee is bent now. And see, do I have enough opening, or is my knee going way over my ankle? And also, we're always looking at this knee to see, is it tracking over the second and third? We don't want it to track to the inside. We don't want to track too much to the outside. We've got to make sure that the kneecap, the middle of the kneecap, if we drew a line, would hit the second and third toe. Okay, so that's going to protect this leg. But maybe I can see in the video that maybe I need to drop down a little bit more here to make this side parallel. So I'm hanging on, really activating the outer heels, activating the big toes. We don't want to be, like I said, supinating. And then we're going to take the arm, we're going to reach, we're going to get that side body way down, just like we did on the chair, okay? And this time, like, let's think about, I've got my hand on my foot, on my ankle. You can put it anywhere you want. I'm going to rotate my ribs now up towards the ceiling, so I really am in a side angle pose. If your chest is facing downward, you need to come up a little higher. Get the chest to be sideways and then come over. Okay. So now I'm sinking the hips. Lift up the heel now in this variation. We did lift up the heel in warrior before. Now lift it up here. Lift it and see if you can sink the hips down a little bit more. Then drop the heel back down. Reach, 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 and lengthen. Wow, that's great. Breathe. Breathe into those ribs. Get that body alkaline. And then turn the feet in. Isometric. And you can walk your feet in or step them or even jump. Depending on what feels good for you. Wow, that felt good to me. Hope it felt good to you. Okay, so our next pose is we're going to go into a half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana, and we're going to use again a chair if you need it. If you don't need it, please don't feel that you need to use it. We're going to come into the pose again from warrior. So I'm actually going to take my legs really nice and wide, bring my right leg forward, bend my knee into warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2, and then I'm going to lengthen. Okay, I'm coming into this pose from a side angle, and I'm going to lift up. I might have to hop a little bit, use my chair, and I'm going to place I'm going to move back so you guys can see, move my hand onto the chair. Okay, my whole lower arm, my forearm is resting. I've got my head resting on the bar of the chair a little bit. So what I want here is to find in the standing leg that the leg, ankle, knee, and hip are aligned. I've got my weight onto the outer heel of that foot, pushing through the ball of the foot and the heel of the standing leg and lifting up from the inner thigh and turning my chest sideways. So if it feels better for you here, you have neck issues, sometimes you can hold the back of your head just so that you make sure whatever works for you in the pose. We don't want to go to a place of pain, just want to be opening the body. Good. And then slowly, if you haven't already, step out and come back center and find your Tadasana. Wow. And so my right and my left side feel totally different from what I did on that side. So let's move to the other side. Stand in Tadasana, find your Tadasana. Take your feet really nice and wide. Turn your left foot forward, bend your front knee, find your warrior. Reach out so you get that side body. Take your arm right to the chair and then see if you can come up to standing on that straight leg. Push through the heel, the outer heel, the ball of the big toe on the standing leg. Turn your chest upward and breathe, lengthen, push through the heel on the up leg as well. You want to try to get that foot as far away. You don't want it to be like this. That's just like a fish at the end of a fishing rod. Okay. Arm can come up and over or up. And then exhale and slowly release, harder than it looks. Okay, that's the end of our chair. Oh no, we got one more thing we want to do in the chair actually, sorry. So we are going to use our chair again. Okay, now we'll just do a wide leg forward bend. Again, taking the legs as wide as you can, but keeping the integrity of the feet and the ankles. If you're allowing the legs to come in because you're so wide, or you're not challenging your feet at all in this pose, then you're not quite getting what you need. I like to line up my heels with the back edge of my mat. And then that gives me a guide for where my sit bones should be. So my sit bones, if they fall way back behind, I know I'm leaning too far into the heels and I'm not engaging the balls of the feet. So as we come forward, now if I had an active situations going on in my back, like I did earlier this week, I might not go down any further than this. I might keep, I'm going to go from the side here. I might keep a nice straight back and just work on lifting sit bones, lengthening through my side body, even maybe reaching forward or using my thighs, pushing my thighs back. But I wouldn't go down all the way unless it felt good. So you really have to listen to your body. So I avoided a lot of big forward bends for the last week and a half while this was going on. And, just from all the lengthening of my spine and all the work I've been doing in the glutes, my back is feeling so much better. So we have to be careful about that. Anyway, so here we are in this wide leg. We've hinged from the hip. Again, it's like you have a bar there and you're rolling the pelvis up and over it. You come down, the crease in your hips is deep, and you want to make that even deeper. And then if it does feel good, you might take your hands to the floor. You can use a chair or a block, whatever, and you might bring the elbows back, and so I feel like things are better, but I can go a little bit of the ways and I'm just gonna hang out here. But I can feel when it doesn't feel right, you know? You're like, oh, I've gone to my max. That's about as much as I can do. So kneecaps up, quads, pushing back, sit bones lifting, taking the legs away from each other, drawing them out as if you've got a big horse and you've got to give them some room to breathe as you're squishing them. And then you can hang out here. And if those of you who are able to go into flexion with your butt, put your hands down on the floor on the block, push the hands forward, let the head go down, and just release into this pose. You should feel this 90% in your hamstrings, right? Okay, good. And then isometrically draw your feet away from each other to come up, or you can bend your knees and step your feet together and find Tadasana one more time. You know, in my class, one more time does not always mean one more time. Okay, so now sit on the chair one more time. Certain phrases I use, right? You really notice it when you're doing videos. Okay, so move my fleshy tissue. We're going to do Dandasana with the feet. So we're pushing out through the ball of the foot and the heel. You can see the soles of my feet and my toes are pointing towards my head. I'm on the very edge of the seat. I'm not letting, watch this, I'm not letting my back around this way, keeping a nice straight back. Use the edge of your hands on the sides of the chair to lift the breastbone up and get really long. Now keeping there and not letting yourself slide off the chair because I've really slipped your hands on today. You're going to inhale and lift your arms up over your head and get really nice and tall. Hasta Urdhva, or Urdhva Hasta Dandasana is the pose. Urdhva Hasta Dandasana. Upward facing, reaching. Dandasana staff. Good. Exhale and release. Beautiful. Okay. So while we have the chair out, let's just do one more thing here. I'm going to sit sideways on the chair. And my chair tilts back this way a little bit. So in this pose, what I like to do is use a little bit of a blanket on my chair. Just even out my hips. And I just put more one cheek on the blanket and one off the blanket. And then actually that makes my hips level. So now I'm going to take my hands to the hoop of the chair. So I've got my right thigh on the inner hoop, touching the hoop on the inside. I'm going to take my hands around and I'm going to rotate to the right. I'm not moving my hips at all. The rotation comes through the rib cage. So get tall, inhale, lengthen, exhale, release. And then my left hand is pulling towards my body and my right hand is pushing my body away. And that creates a lovely action in the upper body. And then if you're fine in the neck, you can rotate and look over your shoulder. But if you're not, just keep your chin in the middle, down and in the middle, or just keep your face looking forward. Relax the neck. One thing I have learned over the years, in a lot of my yoga poses, I was tensing up the neck and it was creating an amazing amount of pressure. So I always remind myself now, relax, relax, relax. So as you're here, you're breathing and you're just experiencing the pose, inhaling and lengthening, exhaling, releasing. Again, going to that edge where you're getting the maximum benefit from the pose, but not too far that there's any pain. Pain is a signal, right? And then exhale and release. Good. Come back to center. So now we'll do the other side. So I know we're running at a time, but I have another pose I want to do after this one, and then we'll do Shavasana. How's that? Okay, so again, I'm just using my blanket to level out my hips. Feet are in front, ankles, knees, and hips in alignment. Lengthen. Turn to the hoop of your chair. One hand is pushing, my right hand is pushing towards my body, and my left hand is pushing my body away from the chair. I love this action. So inhale, lengthen, lengthen. Exhale, release. Now, don't let this right hip come forward. Push that right hip back. So you get that whole line from the right hip to the left shoulder. If you had a piece of, tape or you call it elastic from your right hip to your left shoulder, could you lengthen that elastic? Could you stretch it more by pushing back through the right hip and to the left shoulder? Breathe. What did we say about breathing? Makes your body more alkaline, reduces inflammation. Breathe into those rib cage. And then exhale back to the center. Okay. So now we are finished with the chair. And we are going to use our belt. So I'm going to actually keep my blanket, and I'm going to use this for my head. Okay. And then I'll use my belt. Or again, remember, if you don't have a belt, just grab your houseboat strap or a man's belt or a tie. Anything works. In the old days, we didn't have props, we used tie. Okay. And just watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take my belt and I'm going to wrap it around my heel. Then I'm going to cross it over, but then I'm going to cross it again behind my leg. Pick something up on the floor here. So that the strap, if you watch here, the strap is, I've got blue pants on and a blue strap, but the strap is behind my knee, okay? So I'm kind of like bandaging up my leg a little bit. And then we're going to keep our knee bent, and we're going to pull the knee towards our chest. You can bend this left leg, okay? And then we're going to try to straighten the leg. And we're resisting with the belt behind the knee. Okay. Now, your kneecap never goes back, it goes up towards your hip this way, right? So drawing the kneecap up. Pushing through the ball of the foot heel. Now I'm going to straighten my left leg and draw it towards my imaginary wall, pushing through the ball of the foot heel. Taking the thigh back. And remember last week, again on Wednesday, I had you take your hand in the thigh and push it back away from you. So, we've got both hands on the strap. We can't really do that right now. But push your right hip outside of your right hip towards your left heel. Good. And then you can take both parts of the strap in your right hand and draw the leg out to the side. Anchor your left shoulder, your left arm on the floor. Don't let the hips pivot. And then come on back. Good. Bend your knee, drop the foot, and we change sides. Strap is on my heel. I crisscross the straps. Whoops, hit myself in the nose. Crisscross behind my leg. Like a double crisscross. If this is too complex, just do what you can do. Okay. Start with a bent knee, bend your right foot, keep it on the floor, and extend the leg. So I'm pushing my knee back, back, back. Oh, sorry, I'm not pushing my knee back. Pushing my knee down, I'm extending through my heel, and I'm drawing my right sit bone and my right outer hip towards my left foot, and then I'm going to straighten my right leg. Just work the pose this way. Very similar, if you don't have a strap, to taking your hands behind your leg and pushing the leg into your hands. So I like this. It feels kind of secure for some reason. I don't know. All right. Then I take both hands in my left hand and I draw the leg over to the right, opening up the pelvis, just like in our standing poses. And I breathe and I push through, draw the belly in and up. And then slowly draw the leg back and slowly down towards the floor. And let's just take a happy baby pose. Let's start with a one-sided happy baby pose. This is the end. And rock back and forth. Just allow your left hip to come off the floor. Just roll yourself over to the side. And back. And then change legs. Left happy baby pose. And don't forget, if you can't grab your heel, feel free to use a strap. Again and again, rock to the left. And massaging actually across my lower sacrum, across my lower back, and then grab both legs up into your happy baby pose. Just see how that feels today. Push your hands down, push your feet up into the hands, kind of counter action. Try to get your sacrum as flat to the floor as possible. Breathing and releasing. Holding and breathing. Breathe into your lower back. And then slowly let go and draw your legs to the floor in Shavasana. So lengthen out and tuck your shoulders in. Let your legs fall outwards. Let your belly relax. Let your chest relax. Let your jaw relax. Let your eyes soften. Close your eyes if you haven't already. And just take a minute to sense and feel the body. Feel the breath. A scan of your body from the top of your head down to your toes. Is there any tension that you're feeling, any stress in the body that you're holding on to? Focus on your breath and the expansion of the ribcage. How are you breathing now compared to how you started? There's a feeling of expansion. Able to take a bigger breath, bigger inhalation, bigger exhalation. Maybe there's just a feeling of being able to let go now. Your awareness to your feet, soften, ask your feet to relax. Your awareness to your legs, your muscles relax, your joints relax, your bones relax. Floor. Let your buttocks tissue relax. Your awareness to your lower back, around the sacrum, your SI joints, the side hips. Your awareness to your spine and the muscles on both sides of your spine going down. Paraspinals all the way from the neck all the way down. Side of your spine, there's a row of muscles. Allow them to relax. Allow them to soften and sink to the floor. Allow your shoulders to relax. Chin. Again, go back into the face. Make sure your face is relaxed. Feel the weight of the back of your head sitting or lying on your yoga mat. Again, eyes soft, forehead soft. Just focusing on inhalation and the exhalation. Focusing on your breath. Focus on the quiet. Still. Your awareness again to the breath. That mind, body connection. Hands together. Oh, sorry, we're not there yet. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms up over your head. Because I'm sitting, doesn't get everybody. Point your toes and flex your feet and bring your hands down with a great big sigh. And then bring your knees up towards your chest. Roll gently from side to side. Roll over onto your right side. Turn your chest towards the floor and gently use your hands to come up to sitting, and then sit in Sukhasana or cross-legged position. Your hands to your heart. Bow to the divine within. Again, feeling so grateful for our practice today. Unity of our yoga friends. Nice to see everyone. Namaste. Looking at each one of you. Namaste. So thank you so much for coming tonight. If you want to stay around and chat, if you have any questions about the practice, about your back, about anything, please hang out around. I'm going to turn the recording off now. Again, there are videos under Susanne Jakubowski on YouTube. There are videos on my yoga page on my website. I've posted all the links and all the YouTube videos on there. It's on the yoga page. I think even on my homepage, my website person, David has put a little click here to see more videos. So check that all out and be in touch. And I'm just going to come towards you now and turn off the recording. Okay, there we go. I'm going to disconnect.